So this is the Hovsco Hovcart, and I've been riding it around for over a month now. I've had it in snow, on rail trails, on gravel, and it has held up to all of it. Super comfortable ride. I'm gonna walk you through all the features of this. What I love most is how customizable. Right now I've got it in the seat mode, but of course you can put the cargo racks on, which I'll show you, and you can go pick firewood up or whatever it might be. Probably the best thing about this is that it has a torque sensor hub, which is 750 watts. We'll get into all that, but I'll tell you why that's so important, because it assists you pedaling, and there's 5 different degrees that it can assist you in pedaling. That's probably the best part about this bike, is the fact that it has a torque sensor. As you're pedaling, it senses how hard you're pedaling, and then it assists you. As we get into this, I put a link down below so you can check one out yourself. All right, let's get into the features. We'll start right in with the tires. They're a 20-inch rim, and then they have this 4-inch fat tire on it. A little bit of knobby on it too. This adds so much comfort. Yes, it has shock forks there, but having these tires makes it such a comfortable ride. And then, of course, you got to stop the bike, right? Has full disc brakes, and they are outstanding. When you're flying along at 18 miles an hour, this stops it, no problem at all. And then going up, we have the Forge Zoom shocks. I really like this shock. The nice thing too is that it has an on-off. So if you want a stiffer ride, you can just turn off the actual front shocks and have a stiff ride, or you can kind of have that shock absorber there for you. So as we're getting to the handlebars, you do have a light and reflector on the front, as well as brake lights on the back, which I'll show you in a minute. But it has this nice U-shaped handlebars. This adds such a degree of comfort when you're sitting upright and nice and comfortable while you're riding this bike. So moving on to the grips, you can tell they have this nice palm grip, really nice and ergonomic. The brakes are there. What's great about the brakes is when you pull them, it cuts the power as well. This one has a throttle, which is great. The throttle is wonderful. It's what makes it a Class 2 e-bike. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then you've got your controls. This will be plus, minus how much assistance the torque sensor gives you. And then you've got your power on and off, and then your lights. Let's move over here real quick. You've got a shifter, which is great. Quite honestly, I keep it somewhere around 3 to 5 as I'm going along, because this still does have gears, and when you're pedaling, you can make it easier or harder for yourself with the pedal assist torque sensor hub too, which is pretty awesome. And then of course we got the brakes there as well. So before we go into the screen, we'll actually talk about the battery power on this. So it has a key here, so it locks your battery in place, and then you charge port down here. What's nice is the charge port is part of the battery, so you can take the battery out and then charge it in your house. So it's a 48-volt battery with 720 watt hours. And what that means is that basically you're able to go about 40 to 60 miles on this battery, which is really impressive. We did an 18-mile day, and it hardly drew anything. I was kind of amazed that it just drew down a little bit of power, and still was going after that. So I haven't tested it to its full maximum capacity, but I can tell you I had no trouble going 18 miles. Now we have a seat that is fully adjustable up and down with a quick release right there. What's cool is it has that handle on there. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to talk about this cushion here, but let's talk about the actual chain system. So the chain goes back to a derailleur, Shimano derailleur. It is a little bit dirty, I'm sorry, I've been using this quite a bit. The derailleur has all those gears so you can shift and make it a little bit easier for yourself. It's kind of hard to get a shot down here and show you, but we've got a disc brake on that hub, and then that massive motor in there, 750 watt hour motor sustained. It'll kick up to like 1300 just to get you going too, which is pretty nice. I've had no trouble with that motor kicking on. So let's talk about a torque sensor. What is it? Torque sensor is when you put torque, when you start to pedal, it will actually, the motor will assist you, the hub motor will assist you. Has a little brain in here that tells you, hey, I'm pedaling, now kick in. Why I like that is it's not going all the time, it's only going when you pedal. Now you have 5 settings. So you can go on 1, which when you're pedaling quite a bit and the tire is helping a little bit, all the way to 5 where you're pedaling pretty easy and the motor's doing most of the work. That is a torque sensor. It senses when you torque and when you're going, and then it assists you. This is amazing when it comes to somebody like myself that used to love to ride long distances, but I just don't have the time to stay in shape, I'm able to ride, I ride at about a 3, and I'm able to go 18 miles with it. And I got a good bit of exercise out of it, but I didn't like destroy myself. I love a torque sensor bike. This one has a great one. Now let's talk about accessories. Certainly we have the seat. The cargo load for this back, when you got the seat on here and everything, you can have up to 450 pounds on this seat, but you can also go put a basket on the back. This is probably the configuration I'm going to keep most of the time because I really liked it. And then there's another basket that goes right on the front here, and that's been really nice to use as well. Has everything set up so you can see the screws there, screw it right in. You can take the leg stands off, they screw right in. But I think I'm going to keep the leg stands on with the basket. That way I can maybe put some panniers on the side and they would sit on there. It's having all that cargo space is what really attracted me to this bike, for being able to take it camping, get some firewood, go hunting, whatever it might be. But now let's turn on the screen and go through those functions. So we turn it on here. So this is your screen. You can go, when I go 1, that's now I'm in that 1 torque sensor mode right there. 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is where I'd be pedaling and it would be really cranking. I have my speed and then how far I've gone on my trip. Right now my battery, it has 5 actual bars, but I'm down to 3 because I've rode this about 18 miles for that. Now here is also your throttle, which, push this forward so I can make it go. It'll get going, no problem just using a throttle. And that's pretty cool. Now this does go up to about 18 miles an hour, and that is fast. I can tell you that is like really cooking fast. Let me show you what that looks like real quick. So we've got it here. That motor has no trouble making this thing boogie along. Last thing I want to talk about is this kickstand. So the kickstand is a very unique kickstand. You kind of push it down and lift it back. And that's really important because a lot of the weight's in the back. So when it's sitting like this, it just stays put real well. This would not work well with a regular kickstand because you would have it tilting like that with all that weight and it would probably fall over. So that's why they have this U-shaped 3-point, 2-point kickstand. And I find it's great. Once you get used to just kind of sliding it up, it works just fine. All right, let's take this thing on the road. So as you can see, I'm pedaling right now. I'm in pedal assist 2 and I'm going 11 miles an hour with hardly even pedaling at all. Now, if I wanted to stop pedaling, I could actually use the throttle and be able to keep myself going, no problem at all. Right now, I'm keeping it pretty steady at 11 or 12 miles an hour, and that is pretty comfortable. But I prefer to help it along and have it pedal just a little bit here. Like I said, those tires really absorb a lot of the pressure when riding. You can see these tires can handle all kinds of bumps and cracks, no problem at all. So as you can see, this thing works great, super reliable, and I love how customizable it is. That's the Hovsco Hovcart. I put a link down below so you can check one out yourself. Thanks for watching.